Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Studio here in Kent, Ohio. Black Facts headquarters central, as a matter of fact. And we're coming to bring you some news and some views of black folks from around the world. May even sing a few blues. You never know. But what you do know is whenever you come here, you will not lose. You will leave with more than what you brought with you when you came. So it's always good to come and give us a little visit. And right now, we're going to go ahead and invite you to go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel if you haven't done so already. Let's go ahead and rock that steady. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and look at our and read our words of the day. Word of the day is from the island of Jamaica. Was sweet a mout had a belly. Was sweet a mout had a belly. Okay. Interesting. And let's see. What tastes sweet in the mouth burns the... Oh, here it goes. What sweet a mout, hot a belly. There we go. Okay. You know, sometimes they do these odd transcriptions and they use letters that they'd have been better off just using the regular spelling, because that one confused me. What sweet a mouth, hot a belly. So what tastes sweet in the mouth burns in the belly. And what do you think that might mean? Well, let me see. Some things ain't good for us, even though they appear to be exactly what we want. We should be careful about what we latch on to, lest we cause ourselves much pain and embarrassment. In other words, be careful what you ask for, because you might just get it. Be careful what you ask for, because you might just get it. So what sweet a mouth, hot a belly. And with that said, we're going to go and go right ahead on, and move on to our story for tonight, which we meant to actually tell last night, but due to technical difficulties, which we believe we have worked out at this point, we weren't able to read our story last night, but we're going to continue on, soldier on tonight through the story. Second part of our story, which is High John the Conqueror. And we started it on Thursday, so we're just finishing it up now. So if you were watching on Thursday, then you got part 1, and now we're going to move on to part 2 of High John the Conqueror. And here we go. Oh, put those glasses on so I can see properly. There we go. Okay. So at this point, John had been given a mule by Massa. And John was given a mule so John could do more work. Well, John don't want to do more work. John wanted to do less work. So John didn't really appreciate the gift of this mule. So he has figured out a way to get rid of the mule. And matter of fact, to have Massa get rid of the mule for him. So John has just tricked Massa into killing the mule he gave John the day before. So now that the mule's dead, John has said before Massa killed his mule that if he killed his mule, he bet Massa he would still make more money than Massa. And now John's about to prove that. So he sat down, he killed the mule was dead. John skinned the mule, dried the mule skin out, and now he's sitting on the lawn around the courthouse, and he starts shaking his mule skin, fortune telling, fortune telling. A white man came up and said, "Nigga, can you tell fortunes?" "Yes, sir. If you tell mine, I'll give you $10. John shook the mule skin 3 times, held it up to his eye, shook it again, threw some dust on it, shook the dust off, looked at the mule skin again. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Nigga, what you moaning about? Nah, it can't be. Nigga, what you talking about? What do you see on that mule skin? John shook his head. Let me examine this real close. And he turned the mule skin upside down. Say the same thing this way too. John slowly folded the mule skin. Boss, I just can't tell you. You wouldn't like it. Nigga, if you don't tell me, I'll kill you. John chuckled. You can do that if you want to, but you never would find out. I'll give you $300. I'll give you $100. John thought for a minute. Boss, I'm just telling you what I saw on the mule skin. This is the mule skin talking, not me. So John is giving him all these caveats before he tells him what he sees on this mule skin. Okay. Now, what did that mule skin say? Well, the mule skin said that you shouldn't go home early today. Mule skin say, if you don't go home early today, if you don't go home early, you won't see your wife and your best friend sitting in the house all by themselves. And the mule skin say, they ain't reading the Bible to each other, by the way. The white man pulled out his gun. Nigga, you lying. And I'm gonna blow your head off. John just looked at him. I knew it. White folks don't want to hear the truth. Just want to hear what they want to hear. You asked me and I told you. Now you want to blame me for what your wife is doing and the mule skin say. The white man slowly put the gun away. Nigga, if you lying, I'm coming back here and I'm gonna kill you. Just be sure you bring $100 with you when you come, sir. Well, the white man took off for home, and just like John said, his wife and his best friend were there, not reading the Bible. The white man shot both of them and came back and gave John his money. John went on back to the plantation after telling a few more fortunes. And as he was going to his house, he saw old Massa. Hi there, Massa. What you so happy about, John? I told you, if you killed my mule, I'd beat you making money. Sure enough. Where is he at? And John pulled out enough money to paper a house with. Of course, there was a whole lot of inflation then, so he didn't have more than $50, but it looked good anyway. Looked real good, as a matter of fact, even to Massa. Looked so good, Massa's eyes got all big. He had more money than he knew what to do with, but you know how greedy some white folks are? They got cash registers instead of souls. John, you think if I kill my mule, I could make some money? Oh, Massa, I knows you could. Massa ran down to the barn, killed his mule, and skinned it. Next morning, he was in town bright and early. Mule skin for sale. Mule skin for sale. I'll give you 2 bits for it, one man said. 2 bits. This mule skin is worth $100. All day, Massa went around yelling, mule skin for sale, and folks thought he had lost his cotton picking mind, which he had. When sundown came, Massa threw the mule skin in a ditch and came home angry at John. He mad at John. Well, Massa, I didn't tell you to go try to sell no mule skin for $100. Why, anybody knows a mule skin ain't worth more than 2 bits. What's wrong, Massa? These niggas done drove you crazy? That's what it is. These niggas would drive St. Peter to sin. You need a rest. You ain't thinking straight. Well, Massa was so mad, he could have killed John. Matter of fact, he was so mad, he was ready to stomp on a rock. He wanted to kill a rock. But he couldn't see a way he could do it and make a profit. So he let him live. A week or so later, Massa just happened to be talking to another slave owner. I got a nigga on my plantation that can whoop any nigga in the world, this slave owner said. Can't whip my nigga John. I got $25,000 say he can. It's a bet, John's owner said. We'll have the match in town a month from today. Master couldn't wait for the match. He knew John was probably going to get killed, and Master didn't mind losing $25,000 for the pleasure of seeing John get his behind whooped all over the place. Well, the news spread around the state quicker than hoof and mouth disease. It was going to be a match between the two baddest niggas in Mississippi, other than Stagger Lee, of course. All the white folks was planning on coming. The governor had announced he was coming and bringing his family. White folks didn't like nothing better than to see two niggas in the ring fighting each other until they both fell out. Well, John Master said one day, you getting ready for the match? John was stretching out on the grass eating some chicken. I'm ready, Master. John, where do you get that chicken leg from? Strangest thing, Master. Last night, this chicken just walked in my house and I was trying to chase it out, and that chicken got so scared that it jumped in this skillet of hot grease I had on the fire, and before I could do a thing, it was all fried up, Master, with the feathers removed and everything. Yeah, the feathers just all flew out when it went in the pan. So I thank the Lord for sending the chicken to a poor, honest colored man. You know something, Master? John asked, throwing the chicken bone on Master's hat brim. The Lord sure takes care of you when you live just right, don't he? Master didn't say a word, but stalked off angrily. He couldn't wait to see John get a good whooping. Couldn't wait. Well, the day of the match came and white folks were there from everywhere. There were white folks from Hanging Nigga, Mississippi, and there were white folks there from Cutting Nigga, Alabama, and Burning Nigga, Georgia, and even some white folks from Co-opting Nigga, New York. The governor and his wife and daughter were there. The lieutenant governor and his family was there. The sergeant governor and his family. The corporal governor and his family. There were so many white folks there, it looked like a lynch party. Straight up. About an hour before the match was supposed to start, in come the plantation owner with his nigga Andy. Now let me tell you, this was one big nigga. He was so big and strong, they had him tied with chains. He was snorting and growling and carrying on, so they had to chain him to one of the pillars of the courthouse. He was so big he had to stoop down at night to let the moon go by. 4 white ladies fainted when they saw him. When John's master saw him, he began to feel sorry he'd made the bet. He looked at that nigga Andy and could just see John getting pulverized. John deserved a good beating, but nothing like what he was about to get. Well, about 10 minutes before match time, in come John. And John was dressed like he was going to his own funeral. I mean, he was cleaner than the Board of Health. He had him on a pair of black patent leather shoes with spats, some red trousers with a red coat, and a white shirt, and a black string tie. Over his arm was a hand-carved cane studded with diamonds. He was wearing a Stetson hat and walking real slow, tipping his hat to everybody. John diddy-bop down the aisle, speaking to all the white folks. How you doing, boss? Good to see you. Haven't seen you since you sold my mama. How you do, sir? Last time I saw you was the time you whipped my sister and rubbed the cuts with vinegar. That was to keep her from getting lockjaw, you told me. John was as polite as he could be, a perfect gentleman. After John had finished greeting all them white folks, he stepped out in the center and looked around. He pretended like he hadn't even seen Andy, who was snorting like he had swallowed a whole box of snuff. John looked around until he spied the governor and walked over to him as fast as he could, looking mean, mean, mean. I mean, John was looking triple mean, and he was certainly triple clean. John crawled over the governor's wife, stepped on the governor, and hauled off and slapped the governor's daughter. Pow! Right upside her head. He hit that girl so hard, her blonde hair turned brown. He hit it so hard, she was cross-eyed for the rest of her life. Pow! He smacked her again. Girl, didn't I tell you to stay at home and not come out here today? What you mean disobeying me? Pow! He smacked her one more time. Well, when that nigga Andy saw John hit that white girl, he started getting away so fast, he pulled the courthouse down, broke his chains, and from what I heard, he didn't stop running till he got to Canada. Andy knew he couldn't whoop John, because if John was bad enough to slap a white woman, John was bad enough to whoop him. The white folks were kind of upset about John slapping that white woman until they realized that he simply outsmarted everybody. Then they fell out laughing, especially the ones who had bet on John. Massa wasn't mad because the governor's daughter had said one time that his son wasn't good enough for her to marry. But the governor was kind of ticked off until old Massa slipped him half of the $25,000, at which point the governor told his daughter to shut up all that screaming and hollering, or he was going to smack her one time himself. John went on back to the plantation, and even though he'd won Massa all that money, he still had to get out in the fields and work the very next day. John couldn't see why, so he went in the barn and broke all the plows, the hoes, poured water in the cotton seed, broke the mule's legs, told the house nigga to go tell it, and then stretched out under a big sycamore tree, put his hat over his face to keep the flies off, and he took a rest. He went straight to sleep. John, you done gone too far this time, Massa hollered. You just went too far this time, and I'm going to kill you. John didn't even take the hat off his face. Kill me, and I beat you making money. Not this time, nigga. Massa shoved John in a gunny sack and drug him down to the river to throw him in, but he'd forgotten to bring his weights and had to go back to the big house to get him. While he was gone, some of the other field niggas who'd been watching all along came out the woods, untied the sack, and let John out. They filled the sack with stones, and when Massa came back with his weights, he threw a sack of stones in the river. By that time, John was at home finishing his nap. Later that afternoon, he got up, grabbed his mule skin, and went into town to tell fortunes. Long about 6 that afternoon, he comes back to the plantation, money just jingling in his pocket. John, is that you, Massa said when he saw him? I told you if you killed me, I'd beat you making money. John, yes, Massa. John, you think if I let you kill me, I could make some money? John's face was so serious as he said, Massa, I knows you could. John shoved old Massa in a gunny sack, tied it up. John called to the other field niggas, and they didn't forget their weights this time. They carried that sack down to the river, and just as they were getting ready to throw it in, Massa called out, you sure I'm gonna make some money, John? Massa, I knows you is. John called back as old Massa hit the water and sank. And that's the story of High John the Conqueror. Case closed. Story over. And just remember, you never heard a story like that from your old dog Roby. You heard it right here on the Tubular Black Facts channel, and we'll be black tomorrow night with a story about a nigga even badder than that, because we're going to be talking about Stagger Lee, who is definitely super black, absolutely supercalifragilistically black. So make sure to come back tomorrow night for Stagger Lee, because that's how we're going to end up our scary stories. Although, tell you the truth, that story wasn't so scary to me. I don't know about you, but it really didn't scare me that much, especially when old Massa asked John to throw him in the river like that with weights tied to them, that part didn't really scare me at all. What about you? Were you scared? Well, you can tell us in the comments section on Facebook, or you can send us a message online. You can comment at our website www.blakfacts.org. You can comment anywhere you find me, Doc Ock, at noon and 9. And we're hoping everything's gonna be real fine with all of y'all out there, because right about now it's about time for us to close down this show. Right after we tell all the little children to take their little heads and lay them on their little pillows, on their little beds, while they close those eyes and wait on that sun to rise. And when those sunbeams come, beaming on down on their eyes, that's when they'll know it's time to rise and shine, old children of mine. And in the meantime, all you adults out there know what needs to be done. If you want to have more fun like this, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel right here on YouTube right now today. In the meantime, we're going to give a shout out to Xxvi Stewart, and we're going to go ahead and go to our extra. Peace out without a doubt, with plenty of justice, because peace without justice disgusts us.